pledge allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A moment of silence. Okay, roll call.
Scott,
Yes.
Joyce.
Yep.
Stan, Steve,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Approval of the videos as minutes. Make a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Rob,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Steve.
Abstain.
Okay, discussion and approval of financial reports. I'll take that to everybody. Bank reconciliation, posted 12/1. We have $1,756,158.24. Payment listing for the month, we spent $33,201.98. And everything else seems to be okay. Any questions or concerns or thoughts? Make a motion to accept the report.
I'll make a motion.
A second.
Rob,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Bill.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll pass this to Steve. We're gonna go ahead and go through them and assign them. Okay, we have a special guest, Charles Hall.
I promise this will take just a second. As I get up here, I just want to again thank council for its service. I got 3 items. I'll go very quickly. December 16th, we're having a kids play at the American Legion. It's going to be at 5:30. It's our regular Saturday night service. It is kids from the community, so we'd ask for people to come out and enjoy that. It's our
What's the date again?
December 16th at 5:30. I hope I do.
5:30.
Yeah, and it's gonna be at the back part of the American Legion, so if you wanna get there early enough, you can enjoy whatever vivations are over there and come over, or maybe wait till afterwards and go over, but it's not gonna take much time, but it is a celebration of the kids, and they are community kids. December 17th, from now until December 17th, we're picking up the shoe boxes and taking donations. I know some people have already some people's wives have already contributed very, very heavily to that. But we're looking for, make sure that no shut-ins or people, but we're also giving them just other people as we have enough boxes we want to get out. Salem is helping with some of that, and we just want to make sure we get out and recognize people in the community. The big announcement, chili cook-off, January 28th. 1 to 3. It will be at the American Legion. We're going to need volunteers. We're going to need silent auction items. We're going to need items to maybe raffle off. We're also going to need people to make chili, but most importantly, we're going to need people to show up and eat and make and judge chili. I will tell you that the 2 winners of that from the last 2 years are promising they're going to top one another this year. So maybe a different winner would be nice this year. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Chuck. Okay, police report?
Yes, that's me.
You're the only one in the police uniform.
Yeah, I guess. All right, so the month of November. Traffic usually slows down as the weather gets colder, and I'll probably continue seeing that. Had 7 traffic citations, 25 verbal warnings. It's getting harder and harder to stop people, which I love. That means people are paying attention to the laws. The harder it is for me to stop somebody, it means the safer the village is. As far as calls go, you can see the monthly average, stuff like that. I'd like to thank Scott, actually, one of the dispatchers at Seneca County, and he puts this report on. I kind of just went to him and asked, hey, can you throw something together so the council can have a more transparent idea of what I do day to day, month to month. So as we start going into December and then even on to next year, we'll kind of get a better feel of what a normal month looks like. I don't know about Bettsville PD, their activity level, stuff like that. The amount of calls they had, all I can go off is what I have, so learning right there with you. But around 30 traffic stops a month is, I would say, probably a normal month for me. As far as calls go, I believe the schedule's still working. We changed my schedule a lot just to keep everybody on their toes. Even if I'm not here, people might slow down coming into town because they think I am here. And I believe it is working. Scott, again, kind of pulled a little stat together that I asked for. I handled 87% of all the calls in village property through the month of November, which I think is awesome because I'm here for 40 hours a week.
Right.
So I'm not even here for half of the time, and I'm getting close to 90% of the calls, which means the schedule's working. I'm here when stuff is happening, or stuff's happening because I'm here.
Well, it's kind of like cat and mouse game, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any questions about the report? Anything else that you guys might be beneficial for you to see?
Actually, I think it's working pretty good. I like it, because I see the presence now, and it seems like it's really working. I think the community's really benefiting from the whole project. I think it was a good move on our part for a lot of different reasons.
And I think a lot of the other towns are pretty well thinking the same thing of doing what we're doing.
Yeah, that's something for somebody a lot higher than I am on the totem pole
But I
to
mean, it
discuss,
does,
but.
yeah.
Yeah, it works, I think, for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think the professionalism is what's nice about it. We're at a higher level, I think, and I think that's what's important.
I go along with Scott and Joyce. I've noticed a lot of improvement in this village, and personally, for my family, we feel safer because there's a presence. I don't know how many times I looked across the street and it was 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I could see your lights sitting in there in this full parking lot.
Yeah.
And other people see it too,
Mhm.
and that's the important thing.
Yeah.
That's,
And you don't have that sense of being alone.
right. That's the big thing. Even when there's not much going on in the village, it'd be easy for me to just come back here, park the car, and hide away for a couple hours, but that's not what I'm here for. That's not what the village is paying for.
We appreciate it.
So I'm sitting out, even if nothing's really going on, sitting in high visibility spots where somebody passing through, anybody that wants to look out their window, they can see the deputy car there. So, and even when I'm not on, I always ask another deputy at least once a shift, hey, just buzz by Bettsville, make sure it's not on fire in my absence, or burning to the ground. So.
Right.
Hasn't happened yet, and I don't believe it will, so I really like the cooperation that I'm getting with the other guys on the road too, to where you're paying for me, but you're getting the entire sheriff's office.
Well, I think that's what we thought would happen anyhow, because realistically, now they got more of a vested interest in the community because, because we're paying them.
And one of their people.
Well, there are people doing it, so they're gonna pay a little more
They need help,
attention.
they're gonna get over it.
It gets your attention, the money kind of gets your attention, so.
Anything else?
No, we appreciate
All right.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you. How about fire?
How's this? As you guys can see, for November, we have 10 runs. EMR has been most of them. We've had weather spotting, smoke in the house, and carbon monoxide at the same residence twice. We actually went out and purchased some new fire monitors and a carbon monoxide monitor.
So they got a furnace issue, you get addressed or something,
They just had it cleaned prior to us going there, so maybe they're sensitive. They're getting one was about 20 years old, so we help them guys take care of that, so. Year to date, we've had, almost a record number of 125 calls this year. So, we've been pretty busy. It's not as busy as some of the bigger cities and stuff, but for this small community, 125 calls is pretty busy. As you guys know, we're still in the process of trying to get a new truck. We would like to get with you guys, and it'll probably be after first of the year, to discuss some more about.
Yeah, we had a little discussion about that, I think that's the
Right.
right thing to do, we'll sit down and we'll, I guess we'll put the committee together and look at our options and what we have for advances in a general fund and all those things, how we can help maybe, and all those things that we can do to make this thing work, or what we gotta do. And we wanna make sure the community's involved, because it's a sizable purchase, right, so they need to understand what this cost is gonna be. And we, we wanna make sure everybody's on board with why we're gonna do something, because I mean, what, levy passed, so there's some income
Yeah,
rebates.
I think that's
coming.
what we were kinda waiting on to see if the levy was gonna pass.
So, I think then,
Which it did, so that's.
we'll have a new team in place after the first year, and then,
Right,
we'll
that's
try to,
kind of what we were thinking too, so that's what, once we get
yeah.
through the new year and
I think would be, on your part, you guys probably should finalize, kind of make sure you guys all agree what, this is what you wanna do as far as equipment of the truck, all those things, make sure that you get your final prices, and then look at maybe leasing, or different options for, some money or whatever, what you guys can do, so we can see what we do to help, and maybe make this thing possible. We wanna make sure the community's on board, cause this is a lot of money, and it involves all money, and people in the community, so we wanna make sure it's not just us, we want the people involved to make sure they understand.
And the
Why we're
nice
doing
part with the fire department, the way it's structured right now, it's not one person making the decision, it's the whole group of guys.
And that's what we
Yeah,
want,
that's what we want,
that's
yeah.
what we want, because, because at the end of the day, you guys are volunteers, that's of your time you're giving to the community, and we wanna support you the best way we can. And make sure you got the equipment, and you're in a safe environment when you're dealing with these emergencies, right?
Right.
So that's kind of our philosophy as well.
One of the questions that he has on here is the budget. When's the last date to purchase? I kind of talked to you kind of about that already. And then the other one is he wanted to know how much was being transferred for the 2018 budget.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be
But I
all
can-
discussed in this meeting that you're gonna have.
Right,
Yeah.
so I'll write that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do, we'll
Yeah.
come to terms, and we'll get parties involved in a committee to make sure that, we're kind of in agreement how we're gonna approach this whole situation, and then,
You won't know what's gonna be transferred until after all the expenses are paid out.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah,
And that's kind of what
yeah,
I thought too, but I was just kind of reading what he had here.
yeah, so,
You guys have any questions for me?
no, we appreciate your service.
Thank you.
Okay, clean up?
I didn't do anything this month, but I handed you those papers last month, that you guys all look at them and, think about what we're gonna do, or you said you thought I was kind of intruding a lot.
I didn't say it was intruding or not, I'm just saying that we gotta be cautious, from my perspective, I just wanna make sure that when we make decisions that, you gotta understand, people have property, they wouldn't be able to use the property if they wanted to, I mean,
Well, I understand
Yeah,
that, I
so-
just want, I don't care what they do, I
Yeah.
just want them to keep it clean.
yeah, and
You know.
we understand that, so I mean, we can set some boundaries, I just wanna make sure that, I just wanna make sure that we just don't try to eliminate campers, or one of those things that people have properties,
No,
that kind of
no.
stuff, so I just wanna make sure that we, after the first year, we start talking and have an honest dialogue with the community, and see what the people wanna do, and how they wanna go. We gotta find that balance between, cause it's easy to legislate something, but then it's hard to, once you do that, then sometimes you create another issue for somebody else that wasn't necessary, so I just wanna make sure as we move forward, so I think I agree with portions of it, I just wanna,
I agree with the
Yeah.
portion of it, I
Yeah.
mean,
yeah,
there was a few, I think there's one thing that stuck out with me, no firewood on, property and stuff. I mean, there's certain people around town that would
yeah,
affect.
yeah,
And there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. I got a neighbor that has plenty of firewood, he does it the right way,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, so that's the things you gotta watch, because, sometimes it's real easy to say those things, and it creates all kinds of issues for people,
yeah.
so just gotta be careful.
The only thing I'll say about that is, remember the tree ordinance where you have to cut down all your trees, and we found out most of the dead trees are on village property.
Yeah.
We don't wanna get into that again.
It's a little sensitized, huh?
Yeah,
That's about right.
Yeah, this all works.
I mean, right after the meeting, Gary goes, oh, we shot ourselves right in the foot. So, yeah, we did.
Yeah, so, emotions can run wild, sometimes you gotta just think things through a little bit before you
Yeah.
jump to them, so. we'll get
But
that.
we did get rid of a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We did,
We
we
did really
did,
good.
but, you know, sometimes it pays off to be a little vague. A little.
Okay, water, sewer, street, John? Excuse me.
I only got a couple things. Water, everything's good. Sewer, we're having some issues with the PLC card at the lift station on 590. I don't know what's making it trip out, but I ordered a new one and it should be in the end of this week, so we'll get that fixed. Street, everything is waiting for snow.
Okay.
Been cleaning up on both sides of the
Yeah,
tracks.
I
here.
remember,
nice
yeah,
out
yeah.
there.
You were supposed to take me for a ride on that new thing,
Well,
when you was cleaning that up.
I used the backhoe to clean that.
Did you?
Yeah, but if I get everything knocked down, I started dipping the ditch over there too and pulling the wall up a little bit on that ditch. That was all dug up when the sewer went in and it's kinda all sliding down in, but
Okay.
we should be able to keep a lot of that stuff a lot cleaner with that sickle mower, and if I can get that wall pulled up, we'll be able to mow a lot closer to the edge anyhow, so.
And the new lift station or septic system was resolved as well, what we call them,
Well, yeah, I got that under old business, but, I guess after the first of the year, you guys have to decide, how you wanna approach that, if you just want us to cover that I mean, we're covering the expense 100% right now, but I don't know what your plans are with that, since the issue was created from another time.
Well, I think we ought to have a discussion with them and see if there's some cost sharing or something there, because I mean,
So,
so I think we need to figure out what the total cost was and understand that.
the manholes are installed, everything's fine for right now. In the spring, I'll have that outfit out of Toledo come in and line everything from county line to the lift station. And then we should never have that issue ever again.
So is the septic situation resolved then from Burgoon as far as you know? Is that what it
This
is?
time of year, it won't be an issue.
Yeah, it's mostly,
Because it's just when it's really hot out, but, I think that they also have a, I water getting in, so it's not gonna be, it's not, how should I put it? It's not gonna be strong right now anyhow, because they got a lot of rainwater getting into the system somewhere. So, we still have a bubbler running in that lift station over there though, and it seemed to have helped.
yeah.
And, I can tell you that I shut them down for a couple hours while we were, transferring manholes, and when I turned them back on, it wasn't anything like it used to be.
Yeah, so you.
So the bubblers help,
Yeah.
but that's all I have,
Cool.
so.
Well, thank you very much. Park, annexation, have you?
Yes, I got
Okay.
annexation issues. I got the green light from them that if we're gonna annex the whole thing, they're on board. They don't really need anything else from us. I said I would bring that to you guys at this meeting and I'm gonna follow up with them, but other than that, they're on board.
Good.
So, whatever we need to do next to finalize that should be good to go.
I guess that's really, that's a legal matter, as far as I think that as long as we had the agreement, I think that everything was okay.
Okay.
So I guess what we've gotta figure out we already had a discussion with the township that we was gonna do this.
Okay.
And then we made an agreement to for their setback, for the ditches and all that stuff, so that was all resolved, so it's really,
Just need to pull the trigger then and
Pull
physically
the
do it
trigger.
at this point.
yeah, that's, as far as I know, that's where we should go, but I mean, I'm muting you because I'm not a lawyer, so.
Well,
I
I've never annexed anything before, so
don't-
this
Well,
would
so,
be fun for all of us.
you know,
No, but from their standpoint, they're on board. So I told them I would contact their real estate person
okay.
after we had this meeting to let you guys know, but assuming that the council is on board with annexing the whole thing, and I don't see any negative reason to do that, then that sounds good to me.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I think it was, we've been trying to get this done for years, so I think that we did get it
At
finalized.
least 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Is there any action the council has to take to approve?
I don't know if you guys need to do anything to approve. What did you do originally to approve, annexing what you were gonna annex?
Well, what we did, we had a discussion and we appropriated money to pay for the, survey and all that stuff, so we could get all that stuff taken care of, and all that stuff was taken care of. And,
I think probably what you would simply do is at this point, someone, probably just by oral motion, moving to annex the entire property as opposed to what you originally discussed, and simply go from there.
I think we just make a motion and vote on it, and it's done, at least that way everybody, they can't say, wow, you just did it by word of mouth, we
Yeah.
actually voted on it.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I'll make a motion to the table to make a annexation of the whole property of the basic into the village.
And I'll second it,
Yay.
Scott,
Yes.
Rob,
yes.
Joyce,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
It's done.
Cool. Fine, I mean, that's 5-6 years, I think.
Oh, it's about 10,
Is it?
mister.
Yeah, I've been working on it when I was in there,
Yeah, yeah. How long's that been?
at least seven,
Yeah.
8 years ago.
Yeah, really? Okay.
No, it's ours.
No wonder I'm getting
Yay.
gray.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, zoning, John, did anybody file on paperwork or anything yet for the Cindy or anything?
they, and I sent out a letter last week,
Okay.
so,
Okay. So you
and
sent a letter out?
yeah, and I forwarded a copy. She's got it, that way you guys have it, so
Okay.
if anyone is poking around and wants to see anything that was sent, I'm just, anytime I do anything, I'm just gonna email her copies, so that way you guys have them, but the gist of it is I basically said to them, hey, it's come to our attention, we've got new construction, that's not been, no permit's been applied for. It's also come to our attention that new construction's on village property and no easement or variance has been applied for. So either talk to the village or talk to an attorney and make that decision. And I just said that, and if you don't, we probably have to do further action, which may include removal. And so they can make a decision on what to do from there.
I mean, they got.
Is there a reason why she won't talk to us, John? She just won't talk to us, will she?
I mean, I think we could get a resolution to it, but the point is, I mean, there has a process, I mean, we have a
Yeah.
process in place, you can't.
These rules are not crazy. I mean, you just, in villages that are, in towns and cities that are trying to be legitimate, you can't just have people doing willy-nilly stuff. And so,
So
she can be as, they can be as mad as they wanna be. You know, they would be the opposite if I decided to build a giant thing off the top of my house that everyone would agree is gaudy and ugly. Well, that's why we have rules.
Right,
So I assume we'll get a response. I assume John will get the response more than before anything else.
right, yeah,
You know, and it's my impression from the village, that from council, that we're interested in working with them to
Right.
correct this. It's just, you gotta jump through the hoops.
right, I mean, you gotta, goes both ways, we gotta have
I would
mutual
agree.
communication or some resolve the issues, I mean, we understand her,
With us.
yeah,
Cause the minute nobody does anything about this, and then someone does something that you wanna do something about, that's, I think, becomes a problem.
right, so, we did the letter to them, so we made our first move, and so we're, it's not like we let the thing drop, it's a process now, right? So we'll give it a little bit of time, we'll work through it,
Yeah,
and
that was
that way the
my,
community
that was my
understands.
next question, what is the time period?
I would expect some sort of movement from them by our next meeting.
Right, yeah, I agree,
Alright,
and then the next meeting, we should make the direction what we're gonna do, if there's no action taken or something, right?
I would agree.
So, I mean, I think that's being fair, we've got more than enough time, we've talked about this for,
all she has to do is come talk to us,
right,
we'll work something out.
yeah. Okay. Okay. I guess the old business. We kinda talked about the fire truck already, I think we'll, like we said, we'll table that and we'll try to get all of our ducks in a row. Look at some financing options, look at what we have for available maybe in our fund that we can help subsidized, and I think we wanna make sure we get this out to the community as well. Understand, okay, that we're talking about getting a fire truck, and we want the community support, you know, and we was also waiting kinda on the levy to see, make sure that passed, so that we had, financial sources for funds to help offset the cost and, you know, do what you guys wanna do. It looks to me like you guys are in agreement, that's what you want, so just, you know, just finalize all that stuff, and like I said, we like the idea that you guys are all talking together in as a group effort,
yeah.
because that's something that's been a while that we have not seen, and that is really important, because, I mean, you know, you guys are all volunteers, you all should have a say, and you know, what your needs are, you know, cause you know, you guys do this stuff all the time on your time, and we need to help you get there.
You guys should probably do something about setting up a meeting before our next meeting too, so this can be finalized.
And I think that's
You think-
kind of what we're,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so kinda get something together where, you know.
So,
yeah, if you guys wanna meet, like, we have an officers meeting the first Sunday of the month,
okay.
so if the committee wants to come, usually it's 5 or 5:30.
What dates of that would be, John? That's, the first is already happened, right?
The first is already
We
happening.
might end up.
We might have a special meeting or something if we need to, I think that's what, maybe we do that, maybe you guys look at your guys' schedule and see what you guys got on, maybe you can contact us, and, who wants to be part of that? Steve? Bill, yeah, you guys, we can all kind of
The
discuss,
first Sunday
see what's
is,
going on there.
I think John,
John,
yeah.
I think our next council meeting's the second.
It is January 2nd, okay.
yeah, so it'd
Really?
be
Yeah, we
after,
probably-
before that.
We
Because
probably
New Year's
gonna
Eve
be
is a
in
Sunday.
before that.
Why don't we kick our council
Okay.
meeting down the road?
so maybe we
tonight?
can do it after the first year, is that what you're saying, is that what you wanna do then? Maybe, because we wanna know kind of what we're at with appropriations,
Oh, I
maybe,
told
what
that guy,
do you think?
Well,
I told that guy.
yeah.
Well, I'm saying, we might be better off looking at our financial situation, maybe right after the first year, and then we can kind of see what,
Maybe you would have. I think the most important thing is that we have a hard dollar figure, and then, maybe we can expedite things in January to where we can make a decision in February's meeting, but we really are gonna need hard numbers before.
And I won't be able to do that, have those till I do the year end.
And so we're looking at the third week of January anyhow, before
Yeah.
we're closed out for this year, so.
then we'd
That's why I
be better
said-
positioned to make an informed decision then, because we'll have,
We will have our numbers together for the February meeting, but we gotta make sure they're on board with what their plan is, and they've got a hard dollar figure for us prior.
right,
I mean, if we wanna have a committee meeting or something, that's absolutely fine to
I
make sure
think we
that.
actually have a hard number figure for the truck,
yeah.
which you guys.
Yeah, I
have
think,
gotten.
I think the issue comes down to is like, how would we finance, or how can maybe the village help offset some of those costs, all those things, that's what we gotta decide, because, I mean, there might be some money available, but we as a group here have to decide, that's how we wanna do it, we wanna make sure that the community's involved, so I think, you know, I think we should put signs out there that we're, from the volunteer fire department, that we're interested in replacing trucks, because our trucks are 30 years old, whatever,
Right.
and we gotta replace our pump or whatever, and this is kinda what we're looking at, and maybe get the information out there, so people understand what we're talking as far as the dollars amounts, you know what I'm saying? So
We
that
kinda
they're
bumped
informed.
heads a little bit on Sunday during our meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that helps the
And,
community understand, maybe, I don't know.
I guess I didn't want the blame solely on you guys.
Yeah.
But I think in Mike's kind of defense, he was kind of wanting to basically know, is it gonna be our responsibility to get, like say if we go lease option, is that our responsibility to get prices for that? Or is that gonna be something you guys are gonna do?
I guess I'm not sure how,
I guess,
Normally, the department will go get the pricing for what they want and stuff, and then it's up to us to approve it or disapprove it.
yeah, so
and I would agree with Rob, cause there's no way that the council is gonna be able to say, oh yeah, we need that on that truck, or we don't need that on that truck. That
no, but
would
I think
be-
he's talking more about the financing part of it, I think that's what
Right.
where you're coming from, cause you got
But-
basically, they define what they want in the truck.
But you'd never have a lease number until you knew what you needed on the truck.
Right, I think
Well,
they
that's
have
true.
that.
That's
yeah.
true, you
Yeah.
gotta find out,
We-
and that's the
which
reason
we
why
have
say.
that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got, I think it's a good number that we
We're
look
not,
through.
Yeah.
we're not adding anything to the truck, because we're gonna take stuff off of our other trucks that we currently have. It's just more of the truck replacement.
Yeah, and I think it's how you present it, I mean, you know, 'cause it's not, you know, it's not like an extra truck or anything, it's like, okay, we got the other ones are, they're not,
Well,
The
we
point
got
where they can't-
62
not
that's
take a lot of
completely out of
service or
service right now.
so we gotta, you know, let people know that we got these issues we've gotta deal with, and, you know, it's long-term infrastructure, it takes time to buy this stuff, none of this stuff's cheap.
Right, and hopefully in due time, we can get on a plan that
Mhm.
we can rotate trucks and stuff out eventually.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing.
Did you ever put that money into that truck? Wasn't it like $10,000 or $12,000 it was gonna be to fix the one, or?
We did not.
You didn't, I was gonna
because
say,
we were
it's
kinda
sitting.
waiting and seeing where we were financial wise to,
Yeah,
you know, kinda silly.
What was the lead time on the truck once you ordered it? Is it, what, is it 12,
You're
16?
talking about 6 to 8 months.
Okay, 6 to 8 months, okay, that's something we need to know, so, yeah, cause I don't think that stuff go overnight, so I just wanna make sure we're all, okay. Okay, I think that's where we go, I think, you know, you guys work on that?
Yeah, we'll discuss more too after the first of the year.
So
Okay.
could you get a couple different lease options too, to present to them?
Mhm.
And I guess you probably could talk like the Old Fort Bank, it's like that too, and see what you could buy, just without a lease option, to buy it, right? I mean, that's what I would look, cause I think if the lease is, you know, is as a dollar buyout, or all those things, you gotta look at the terms and see what the cost is, maybe it's cheaper to go ahead and get a loan and just do it that way, you know, what I mean, and in the day, cause at the end of the day, we wanna own the truck, we don't wanna have, you know, cause the leasing is a easy way to buy something, but there's quite a bit of added cost to it, so we might be better off, you know, just getting a bank loan and looking at the money you guys got coming in from your
And I
Your
think
levy
we-
money and all
We
that
kinda
stuff.
discussed that a little bit too.
you know.
With the levy money that we had coming in, we were, with a lease, we were a little closer.
Okay,
Still didn't have enough, but we were
Right.
a little bit closer to where,
Right.
you know, we could almost make the payment.
yeah, well, I'm saying, I think
The problem
we as
is
a council,
when
the village.
the lease is up, the lease is up, and
Yeah.
the truck's good for 25 years.
Right,
So.
yeah, we have to see what the terms of lease, I mean, you gotta look at all those things, right, and the numbers, and see what makes sense. But I would also look at a straight loan, look what we can do there too, cause, I mean, you know, that might make more advantageous to do that. Just go to the bank or whatever, and, you know, and see what kind of rate they would give us to do something like that, you know, so.
I
we
think
got-
that's why you gotta have this meeting and sit down and hash it all out.
Right.
Yeah,
Come, and, come, you know, come to our best agreement.
Right,
with-
And I think that's what we were kinda looking for direction from
Yeah,
you
and I think
guys
another
as
thing we
the-
could do, is looking at from the village point, maybe we could use some of the money to offset some of those costs, so the payments would be more manageable from, so we gotta look at all those things. You know, so we, well, how much money we get to roll over, that's why we gotta kinda wait till after the first year when we roll over to see where the numbers are at, so we can make an informed decision as what we might be able to help with, you know what I'm saying?
They had a 15-year loan on the last truck they had,
Okay,
because that truck's 95, 96,
Gas truck,
no,
61,
yeah.
early 90s.
Cause I started in '02 and we paid it off after I was here for a couple of years,
Right.
so.
okay. So, those things we gotta have an honest discussion on, but we gotta have numbers, and then we can figure out what our options are and what we can do, and then we as a group can sit down and talk about it and see how we might be able to approach it and make it happen, you know?
Right, I think my thing is it works better if everybody works together opposed to just one person making a decision.
And I think it's important, like I said, I think we need to get it out to the community that we're talking about this, you know, not only just on the video or whatever, but I think we can get the notices out there, and, you know, the firemen can say, okay, we're trying to do this and whatever, so everybody understands there's a reason behind this, it's not just because they want a new toy, it's because, you know, we have to resolve the issue with the stuff not working or whatever, and we gotta, you know, we're gonna have contracts with Jackson Township and Liberty Township and all that stuff. We have to service those contracts, right? I mean, it's no different than what we do with the sheriff's department. I mean, we sign a contract with them, right, and, you know, the expectation is, you know, they're gonna have coverage. So we gotta support that as well, so.
and you'll be happy to know that I'm on board with this. I've never been on board for a new fire truck, so.
I'm actually a little shocked.
Yeah, we are.
So
It's not over yet.
Oh, yeah. It ain't bought yet.
I'll say, yeah, until she heard the payment amounts, and then she's like, no.
No.
She's looking to lower her fire insurance.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's important, you know.
That is important, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if everybody knows that, but the newer fire trucks and stuff will change our ISO ratings for
Mhm,
insurances and that kind of
That's
stuff
good,
too,
yeah.
so. You know, all that stuff, it's not just, you know, so we have a new plate toy, it's,
Yeah, yeah.
it serves a purpose,
Well, that's what it used to be like,
yes.
you know, so. Okay.
Get a break thing here, so. Okay, I have document scanning here. Where we at with that?
I just kinda wanted to give a little update on what's going on with that. She's cruising along. We actually have to get into a scary dark room up there to get some more stuff out. She was scanning stuff from 62 the other day,
Well, that's good.
and we actually had a records request for something from 62. We didn't have the ordinance, but we had the minutes where it was approved at.
Okay.
We haven't got that far into the ordinances yet, but the minutes were there, so that was
That's more luck than sense, huh?
partially resolved. The other issue with that request was it was it was a vacation of an alley, and it was never filed with the records department in Seneca County, so I don't really know what's gonna happen with that, but we'll figure that out as it goes. But that's really all I had on there.
I
is-
mean, that's things we can resolve if we
is
have to.
we're moving along. There's actually a house in that alley now, so
Yeah.
we're not getting it back. So,
We get in a house or?
or a drive-through.
Drive-through.
Yeah.
She been paying on that all this year, all this time?
What's that?
She been paying taxes all this time on that?
I'm not really sure how this all came about.
Or she- it's because something about she got charged on her taxes for it.
Yeah, finally.
Finally, after all this time.
Right.
And she wanted, that's
Which
why.
she should be happy the way it's
Oh, yeah,
gone.
yeah.
From 1962 until now, she just got her first tax bill. I don't know, but yeah, I
Moving
guess.
along.
Yeah.
One thing's left off of old business. Tammy Wagaman was in here last month complaining about lighting in that alley. I just didn't want us to miss it.
Okay.
Oh, those have all been. Ohio Power was in and fixed all them lights.
Okay, so they got.
Good.
That's all been done?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
good.
so the building lights and stuff, that's not our responsibility, as we
No,
discussed. It's-
there was a pole light out in that alley.
Okay,
I just wanted documented,
So
that's all.
that was fixed, and there was actually one at the end of this street that was out at that time, and one in the alley in front of the library was out. But all three of those were turned in the next day, and those have since been fixed.
Oh, good.
well, thanks for following up on that. It's hard to keep track of all that stuff sometimes, you get so much stuff going on. Okay. Okay. We'll go to the new business. The first one is Jackson Township Fire Contract. I have this agreement here that we have to sign. I'll read it to you here. This agreement is made and entered into with Jackson Township, Sandusky County, filed the 6th day of November 2017, by and between the Village of Bettsville by the authorized representative of Bettsville Volunteer Fire Department, herein references fire company, and Jackson Township, Sandusky County, Ohio, by and through its duly elected board of trustees, a political subdivision organized and existing under the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio, hereinafter referred to as township. Whereas pursuant to the authority granted in section 9.60 and 505.37A of the Ohio Revised Code, adopted pursuant to motions passed as a duly called meeting on the 6th day of November, township desires to enter into a contract with the fire company, which is our fire protection as its first responder service to township and its inhabitants for a period of 1 year for the benefits of the residents and visitors of township. And whereas the fire company is prepared to and desires to provide such services to township as set forth herein as requested by Ohio law, and now therefore, in consideration of a mutual promise contained herein, the respective parties agree to as follows. Article 1, duties of the fire company. Fire company shall provide fire protection and first responder services to township and agree to answer any and all fire calls from said township and its citizens, and shall send fire apparatus and equipment and fire personnel to every fire call it receives from any source, i.e. communication from citizens, any 911 system call, law enforcement officials, etc., for the purpose of extinguishing fires within its designated territory within Jackson Township, and shall provide mutual aid to other agencies as set forth in any and all mutual aid agreements the fire company has entered into with other fire companies or fire departments in Jackson Township and the Sandusky County area. The fire company shall be responsible for the care and maintenance of any and all firefighting equipment it owns, and treat with the utmost respect any fire equipment owned by the township. The fire company shall provide necessary training to all members of the said fire company, and shall comply with all laws, rules, and regulations pertaining to private firefighter companies. Fire company shall provide township with proof of its policy of liability coverage and shall name township as a certified holder on said policy. Furthermore, fire company shall provide township with proof of its workers' compensation coverage for all fire personnel in the fire company. Also something. Okay. Huh, really? Read the whole thing, so. 1.5, fire company shall assist in enforcement of its resolution utilizing the provision of revised code 3929.86 relative to requiring that certain fire losses claims not to be paid without a certificate issued by the company treasurer to ensure that the townships are reimbursed for any and all expenditures relating to the abatement of a nuisance created by fire, where a policy of fire insurance is full force and in effect. Furthermore, fire company shall provide township with annual financial statements relative to the operations of the fire company, and shall provide a list of runs made in the township. Fire company shall train with other departments serving and in contract with the township, and should have meetings with these departments and be in good working relationship with these departments. In addition, fire companies shall perform any and all additional duties relative to fire departments and any and all other duties that may be assigned by township or otherwise mandated by Ohio law. In the performance of its services, fire company shall exercise the same standard of degree of care as a normal, customary, and reasonable for providers of these types of services. Article 2, duties of the township. The township shall pay fire company for said services on a semi-annual basis for the term of 1 year from the date agreement, the sum of $28,000. Semi-annual payments of $14,112.50 to be paid in June and in December. Township holds the right to decrease the amount of payment to the fire company if all or any of its agreement are not met by the fire company. Article 3, personnel. Fire company shall be responsible for the selection, hiring, discipline, compensation, supervision, and termination of its employees and or volunteers. Article 4, termination. The agreement shall remain in effect from January 1st, 2018 unto December 31st, 2018. All notices and demands required hereunder shall be in writing and shall be deemed to have been properly given and received if sent by certified U.S. mail, return receipt requested. This agreement constitutes the entire agreement of the parties relating to the subject matter hereof and shall supersede any prior oral or written agreement, representation, warranties, or understandings between the parties thereto. This agreement shall not be amended or modified except by agreement in writing executed by both parties. This agreement shall ensure to the benefit of and constitute a binding obligation upon the parties hereto and the respective assigned. Neither party shall assign any rights nor delegate any duties hereunder without prior written consent of the other party. The parties hereto agree the relationship between fire company and the township is that of an independent contractor in the performance of a governmental function as an agent of township. Therefore, while townships may have available to its defense of sovereign immunity pursuant to 9.60 and 2744.02 of the Ohio Revised Code in any all claims or litigations against it. Fire companies shall indemnify and hold harmless township from the claim of any person whoever for damages to person or property caused by him. In addition, township agrees to indemnify and hold harmless fire company from the claims of any person whatsoever for damages to person or property caused by any employee, agent, or representative of the township. This agreement shall be governed by laws of the state of Ohio. Each fully executed counterpart herein shall be deemed to the original itself. So I gotta have the mayor sign this back, so we'll have the mayor sign it, but that's the contract. So I guess we need to make a motion to accept the contract.
Yep, and that went up $1,025 from this year.
What do you mean?
The dollar amount they're paying us is
They're giving us $1,000 more?
$1,025.
Okay, so we gotta write that down. So the total amount's gonna be 26,
28,225.
28,
225.
225. So I'll make a motion to accept the contract.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second
Rob,
Yes.
Joyce,
it, yeah.
Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
And then Scott, I need the solicitor to sign.
Okay.
and then I'll need that copy back.
Okay, but Gary's gotta sign it, I can't sign it, right?
Yep, right.
Okay. Next. Angela, before I leave the town.
You can sign as a witness later.
Okay.
So while we're on the new business thing, is it all right if I bring up, I wanna go back to some written minutes? Do we have to have some kind of a, I'm sorry, I do not like listening to a piece of CD, okay? I wanna see what's in front of me. So what do you guys think? Is it gonna, how much more work is it gonna be for you?
I just have to listen to the meeting and type it up.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm okay with it, I mean, it makes it easier, I mean, what do you guys think?
I don't wanna get into a situation like we were a couple months ago, where we gotta have it approved and put out on somebody's website 10 minutes after the meeting's over with, when we didn't have a chance to look at and make sure all the notes are right. I'm sure there are, I trust Angela with anything like that, just stipulation, you have to be that when we're gonna come back the following month, that's when we're gonna approve it.
Well, I think maybe we look at, we just do the video things as the instantaneous thing like you talked about, and then we could just have.
We could do both.
Both.
we
and
can do
it's-
both.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
Both.
I think that way, that these are official ones, and then that way, you know, I mean, I'm okay with that as well, as far as, I know it's extra work for Angela, but at the end of the day, I think.
I just don't wanna see us go back.
Right,
Right.
right, yeah,
But remember, the minute you make written records, the minute you make written minutes, those are public record just like anything else.
Well, the other thing's public record too.
Oh, I understand that, but the tape's always gonna be right,
Mhm,
so just keep that in mind,
mhm.
is it under a reason, I read something that's within a reasonable amount of time, those written minutes become official whether you approve them or not.
That's right.
So just make sure that you're okay with that. And, you know, prying eyes are gonna raise an issue if your written minutes aren't consistent with the audio minutes. Just keep that in mind.
I propose that until we get the new council on board, we table this until next month and then discuss it then. You okay with that?
Yeah,
Yeah, let's table it.
I'm old, just human.
She probably still has a landline too.
I didn't notice.
You didn't
okay, well, I think I'll leave that one alone, so.
That was polite.
About as polite as I get with that one.
Okay. Next new business I gotta deal with, Department of Commerce, Division of Liquor Control. Notice to legislative authorities, objections to renewal of liquor permits, so the people in the village have a right to, voice their opinion for or against the liquor permits in the village of Betsville.
I'll drink to that.
Okay. Okay, that basically says, dear clerk or legislative authority, this is notice that all permits to sell alcoholic beverages in the Palico subdivision will expire on February 1st, 2018. In order to maintain permit villages, every permit holder must file a renewal application. Okay, so they basically gotta file with the state, so that's, just so everybody knows, that's what this is all about. So, do I gotta do any motion on this, or just read it?
Nope, it's just for them to know if they wanna
Okay, so it's just a
not let them
notification.
do it, then they
Okay.
can look at the letter and do what they need to do.
Okay. Sewer reallocation, let me get that here. So we did need to lose some money, excuse me, and, we need to reallocate $5,000 in sewer funds in November from, account number 55-4-430 for repairs and maintenance to 55-4-349 other professional services to pay the bills for the sewer repairs that we did on 590. So I need to make a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Rob,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Bill.
Yes.
We started to get paid for
Okay, next.
We just moved money within the same line.
It was in the
Yeah.
same fund, it was just,
Yeah, we didn't
Yeah.
do anything different.
I'm allowed to do that, but the auditors want it mentioned in the.
Yeah, we just wanna make sure it's in the minutes, so that
Meeting.
we don't wanna get in that trouble again, 'cause remember how we had the question, so we're just trying to get better at it, so. The next, we have this, Perry Protect invoice, for $300, and that really covers the service of this scanning device we've been using. Remember, that was part of the agreement, the first year it was covered, and now this is the second year, so now we gotta pay for a service contract to maintain the toner service of the units, so I'm gonna make a motion to pay this invoice
I'll make a motion.
for $300.
I'll second it.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Scott,
That's $300. Yes, I'm sorry.
Steve,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
You know, I could jump in on something real quick just because I have it and
Okay,
I want to
okay.
get it in. There are the state, Rita wants some changes made to basically the ordinances that have to deal with Rita. And she forwarded me, they've basically said exactly what they want removed and added to
Okay.
everyone.
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do, and I don't know how you guys wanna do it, I can do it one of two ways. We can I can take all the changes that they want and simply have them as amendments to what you guys already have in place. That's probably gonna make the most sense, rather than have me redo the whole thing, making them in and out. So what we'll probably just do is, I'll go through all the red line stuff in here, make sure it's kind of reflective of what you guys already have, which I assume when you guys originally did this, it was just cut and paste from what the state said to do.
Right.
So we're gonna do the same thing, and then I assume at that point you guys will just approve it and go from there.
Okay, so we just approve.
I'll
the
have that
minutes.
stuff ready for your next meeting. The state would like it by January 31st. However, I'm pretty sure, Kasich's not gonna come walking through the door saying, "Hey, boys, let's get this rolling." But we should be ready to go for the next meeting.
Okay. I think that's probably the best way to just do amendments, so you can see what the actual changes
Yep.
were, right?
Yep, and again, this isn't stuff any of us is making up. This is what they've said, hey, because there was a House bill that was passed, so this is a reflection of that.
Okay. Get closer here. Under the new business too, I wanna bring up we got the sheriff, bill for the month for the police coverage for $6,138.48, so I probably need to make a motion, to bring that in. Not
no, you
necessarily-
just wanted to see a copy every
Okay, so
month.
a copy of the sheriff can see
I
that.
seen it on the appropriation.
Okay, so we got the money set aside for it, I just wanna make sure we're all understanding what the cost is per month. Okay.
Is that every month, Scott?
Yeah, roughly,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Okay. Going into new business as well, we got gift cards for volunteers, so I'm not sure how many volunteers were involved this year. Three? Okay.
Jim for the fireworks,
Okay,
Jerry Ash and Lee Window for mowing at the park.
okay,
Gary wanted to do 100 for Jim, cause that's what we had done for him in the past for fireworks. Lee, 200, that's what we did for him last year, and Jerry started, like mid-season helping, so he said something about $100 for Jerry Ash.
so it's a total of $400 roughly, right?
Correct.
Okay, so.
He
I'll
wants
make
to
a
do the-
motion.
He wants to do the Visa cards like before.
I'll second it.
Time out. Yes, so, the activation fees would have to be paid on there also, whatever those are.
They're like $12, $13.
It's a money game, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I think it's the right thing to do, so. Okay, motion back on the table, I guess, so.
Sorry.
And she made the motion, I second it.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Rob,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes,
Steve,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
okay, the next thing is the ordinance, 2017-16, that's temporary appropriations. I'm gonna read it here. An ordinance accepting the attached temporary appropriations for the fiscal year 2018 and declaring emergency. Whereas it's come to the attention of the council Council of the Village of Bettsville that it needs to adopt temporary appropriations for fiscal year 2018, and whereas council desires to adopt attached appropriations for the fiscal year 2018 for the Village of Bettsville, and whereas Council of the Village of Bettsville, Ohio has elected by the vote of 3/4 of its members to dispense with the requirements of section 731.17 of the Ohio Revised Code, that this ordinance be read 3 separate days prior to its passage. Whereas it is deemed necessary in order to provide for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety of the Village of Bettsville, Ohio, and its citizens, and for the efficient day-to-day operation of the village. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Bettsville, County of Seneca, State of Ohio, as follows. Section 1, the attached temporary appropriations for fiscal year 2018 are hereby adopted. Section 2, that for the reasons stated in the preamble hereto, the ordinance is declared to be an emergency measure passed, and it's due with authentication by the mayor and the clerk of the Village of Bettsville, Ohio. And so, maybe you can explain this a little bit better, Angela, so I don't put it out here in this appropriation here. This is just stuff we had to move around a little bit.
Just what I
Right.
expect the expenses to be next
The
year.
expenses, yes, we just moved some money around on the appropriation for 2018, so. You guys would like to read this quick before we have a motion? Look through.
There's some extra copies on the table there too. I put 2
Oh,
on
here.
the table, yeah.
Well, this is important. All right, I'm not seeing.
Down there. We can't find them.
What?
Oh, does everybody have one?
No, this is the only one she's got. Here, you wanna pass it on?
Right here, Joyce, I put 2 of them on the table.
Oh, I've got one.
Oh,
and-
is it? Should I
I
expect
thought
that?
everybody got one.
No, I just laid 2 of them out
Oh,
there.
well, you didn't say that.
It says
Anybody wanna
copyright.
see it?
It says copyright on it.
Oh, you want written minutes if you're not even gonna look at them. Right in front.
I still wanna read.
I'm looking for the trees and what's my slush fund called?
John said no money in trees this year.
Really?
Yeah,
got
I
my
had to put
fire
that in the
truck.
fire truck.
That's repairs and maintenance of buildings and land, only $1,000.
That's your story.
They're only giving me $1,000 this year?
You don't even know what you're looking at.
Yeah, you're right. There you go.
We knew she was being too easy.
Joyce, we have 5,000 in trees.
Okay, thank you.
Just like we always done.
Yeah, yeah.
We gotta keep you happy.
Well, we do.
So it's just looking.
And how much is in lands and buildings?
Did we keep it the same? I think we did, because this building needs some update.
at 3 readings? Huh?
That can be done in 3 readings?
No,
No, we're
27,000.
doing it.
Is that good?
So
Yeah,
she had
that's
for the
pretty
good.
appropriation
Same as we
for
did
2018, so she had to move some money around. I mean, it's the
At
same
least
money
you're
we had,
nice
and she had
enough
to
to
move
tell
around
me
the
when you're
funds,
using
basically
it.
around too, so.
oh, we're gonna use it this building needs painted.
So when everybody's looked at that, I just need a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll second it.
Scott,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Steve.
Yes.
A motion to declare an emergency.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes,
Rob.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Steve,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Joyce,
Yeah.
Bill,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Okay, any other new business?
I did bring some material for the splash pad.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a new council at the next meeting. Linda wanted to be part of our committee, which she graciously offered, so we're gonna do it. I did bring some information, but I'll wait.
I got one and
I did print out some information, but since I'd like to table it until next month meeting, And I got some things, if you make some copies for us for next month, I appreciate it. I'll speak to you after the meeting. Want to put our thinking caps on. One of the things we want on the agenda for next month is discuss what we're gonna do with the park, and the splash pad will be part of that. That said, that's all I'm gonna say about the splash pad. The other thing I'd like to start thinking about is we, as a council, it's kinda, in a small way, we're kinda reactive. We react to crises that come up all the time. I'd like to see for 2018, we start being a little bit proactive and start setting goals that we plan on accomplishing that year. You know, instead of wasting our efforts going here, you know, it's almost like you're part of a pinball machine. And all my asking is the people that's kind of, our council, that'll be on council, put their thinking caps on, ask around, and see what's important in this village, and start putting some concrete plans together on how we're gonna achieve those goals. That's all I can say.
Also, next month, I'm having some guy from Amplex come and talk to us. They're into telephone and internet. I know I'm having a few problems with Time Warner, and there's several other people that have contacted me that wanna change maybe, you know, so I asked him to put up some kind of a little thingy, you know, to see what kind of things they can offer us or whatever, because we're being held hostage pretty much by Time Warner, and I'm all upset because if I wanna watch Animal Planet, I gotta go to another tier, which is about $50 more a month, and you know, it's not right. They know exactly what channels you watch. Everybody in this town, they know exactly what you watch, and that's how they get you, so.
I have Amplex and I love it.
Yeah. And I have quite a few people that say they have it, and I was talking to a lady yesterday from Lindsay, and they have Amplex over there too, so, you know, it's something to look at, you know, because, we're kinda limited here, what we have. Frontier and Time Warner, right? Is that it on the telephones?
Time Warner is really going out, is really not really in business anymore.
No,
That's
it's that Spectrum,
That's
you know,
Spectrum
yeah.
now, and believe me, what Spectrum does and what Time Warner does is entirely two different things.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend of mine that came up and talked to me, just happened to be today, that he was talking about his high-speed internet being like 28 megs. And I said, really? Mine's 71. And we both have the same service. Well, I contracted with Spectrum after they became Spectrum. If you were contracted with Time Warner, there's been a lot of updates to the equipment that they're not gonna tell you about unless you call them and complain.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be your own advocate with that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as television, stuff like that, if you have internet, high-speed internet, you almost don't need a cable or satellite or anything. There's all kinds of things out there. So that problem that we're having, a lot of people are having, is in not too long of a time gonna be taken care of, because there's just too much competition out there. As a matter of fact, I went to DirecTV last week, and we had a hellacious bill. I'm almost embarrassed to say what it was, but it was over $100 a month that we was paying for this DirecTV. I got it lowered to 60 within about 15 minutes on the phone. By just simply saying, I can get DirecTV now, I can get Set TV, I can get Sling, I just started naming them all off. And I said, you're not the only game in town. So we're gonna do one or two things in 5 minutes. You're either gonna drop this bill dramatically, or I'm gonna cancel you. And I already got high-speed internet, so I'll pick something else up in 10 minutes. And they cut it 55, almost 60%.
For a year,
So,
Yeah.
for a year.
and I told them, and they said, well, do it for a year. I says, fine, a year I'll call back and cancel that. Not a problem. They're no longer in the driver's seat on that stuff. You can be a victim if you want to, but it's only because you don't educate yourself.
You know, it sounds like you're ready to start negotiating on this fire truck. What do you think?
Yeah,
I'll negotiate with it. You know what? You're gonna get yourself a Silverado.
With a hand.
It ain't gonna be a new one. And it's gonna have a guard hose. You wanna play those games, I can do it.
Any other new business or anything? Now I'll make a motion to adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.